What up? Hey guys, Karina here. Wild podcast episode for you today. It is exclusively about Queen Victoria because honestly, in this ridiculously sized cast, she is the only name we know. During Monday night's episode, Charles successfully slid into the Queen's DMs, and he has some major insider scoop for us to dive into. On top of that, I get personal about my issues with Jimmy Kimmel's wife. Charles has a quarter-life crisis and gets serious about selling feet pics. We unpack Victoria being bombarded by haters online, and I consider giving up the show forever in a drastic stance against cyberbullying. So on that dramatic note, let's kick off the episode.
Hey guys, we got a sponsor for today's episode. Very special guest, Mr. Harrison. Thank you for coming on to tell us about manly bands. Karina, what do you think of manly bands?
I think they're all the rage. I can't get enough of them.
They're very expensive, okay? We're going to be talking, we're sponsored by the Chris Harrison Collection. We're not sponsored by manly bands. I guess we should make that clear, right, Mr. Harrison?
Chris Harrison Collection is very unique in that they allowed me, for better or for worse, to go in and create my own collection and my own designs.
Now, this is what I like about you, Miss Harrison. For better or for worse, I have a feeling. I mean, that's the theme of this episode. For better or for worse, Victoria. Just a little teaser. We just recorded. How much time did we just record? 2 hours talking about Victoria. I guess we'll see how long it turns into. I can't wait to hear what you, Mr. Harrison, have to say about Victoria when we're gonna have him sit down. Okay, for probably. Joe Rogan does 3 hour sit downs. We want to double it. Have a 6-hour pod with Mr. Harrison. It's coming. Seriously. Anyways, for better or for worse, this guy right here, looking at him across the Zoom. God, I want to be in Napa. I want to be in Napa with you, Mr. Harrison. Soon enough, this pandemic will end. Karina and I, we want to move to LA, eventually pursue entertainment, screenwriting, movie making, etc. That's on hold. But that hasn't kept us from hanging out with Mr. Harrison. We play poker with him every week over Zoom. We've sort of developed this bond. Reality Steve, he comes in. How much does he owe you, would you say, Karina, after last Wednesday?
I think it's about $350, but I will also take payment in the form of manly rings.
Yeah, right. Yeah, $350.
I'm so sorry, manly bands.
That we mix it up.
Oof, sorry, Mr. H. He's looking at me with the most
let's
anger
move on.
in
Okay,
his eyes.
here's my first question for you, Mr. Harrison. Now, this Chris Harrison collection, does it run the gamut?
It really does run the gamut.
Well,
there
the
you go.
gamet's being run.
But let's talk about the styles.
As far as the styles, the looks, like the Napa here, which is a little bit of wine barrel.
A little bit of wine barrel.
Wine guy. I love
Now he's a huge wine guy.
Napa, but then there's my Texas side. So there's some country parts of me as well. Austin, the Lone Star, and
we sort of have because it's sort of a three-way friendship that we have, the three of us. We kid. I was talking about Napa. I sort of am friends with Napa Chris, whereas you, Karina, know the Lone Star Texas, Mr. Harrison.
Yeah, I'm definitely Team Lone Star. I don't want to seem too boastful, but I do have a year-round invite to his ranch in Austin.
Yeah,
we bond over our southern roots.
there's that angle.
There's the southern angle to your friendship. You don't have to always remind me. But then back to the rings. Talk to people about the rings, Mr. H.
And there it goes from sleek to casual.
I'm glad you
Sweet
said that.
and casual.
We wanted to talk about the variety of rings. Just in general, there's a lot. There's sleek, there's casual. What else is there?
There's loungewear rings. There are engagement rings.
Loungewear rings.
There's promise rings.
During COVID, there's no need for a business professional ring. There maybe sleek, but definitely casual. Loungewear.
I'm wondering about purity rings. I feel like that could garner a lot of interest in this.
That could maybe be
this fan
crossover
base.
with all these virgins that they cast on the show. Back to the read. Sorry, we keep getting you off copy, Mr. H.
All right, Mr. Harrison.
What's the best thing about choosing a ring?
And the best thing about choosing a ring, especially now with manly bands, is that guys can really pick what they want. Something that suits their personality.
Thank you. Okay. That's all That's all I'm gonna say. But actually, give me. This wouldn't be a Mr. H call without some advice. He gives us a lot of advice. We're young upstarts in Hollywood. Karina, she interned at ABC last summer. That's how we got the connection. You give us a lot of advice. What's your advice? And for the listeners.
My best advice is take time and find a couple of things that really mean a lot to you. Ladies, find that perfect ring.
Okay. I think Karina's found that with you. But what about us guys? We feel left out.
But guys, don't feel left out.
Oh, okay. Well, I still don't know where I can get the perfect ring.
With Manly Bands now, you can find the perfect ring.
Oh.
And I'm here to help if you can.
Convenient.
Rings on. Let's go. Let the drama begin.
Let the drama begin. All right, let's go to music. Welcome to episode 2 of the Mean Reasons Pod, the podcast that's mean for the right reasons. As always, woo! I'm Charles, your lovely host, and then my even lovelier co-host, the Kit to my Keenan, Klein to my Calvin, the K to my Y, the K to my C, Karina, K Swiss, K Diddle. It's hard for my brain to even put together normal sentences. Oh, I just sort of had a stroke moment there even. Okay, so we're back. Pretty smart of us to brand ourselves as a Mean Girls themed bachelor podcast, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it really lets us own it.
I don't know if we're the first who. Yeah, it lets us own it. That's what we are all about, and by that we mean Karina, as always, myself, Charles, and Queen V, our sort of boo of the week. We're defending her. No one else is. We're like the only ones.
We're 3 peas in a pod.
We should make one of those memes where it's the soldier falling down and there are a bunch of knives, and it's us. We're the fallen soldier, falling on our sword. You don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but our sword is Victoria.
We'll write down to cut this. OMG, she blocked me. Because I told her, I said, hey, your emoji color. So, okay, guys, as we speak, as we're recording, it's 7:30 on Tuesday. We've had a lot of people in our DMs, all because of Queen Victoria.
They are not loving the kind things we have to say about her.
We'll get into it, I guess. We posted, we liked Victoria coming into episode 2. Let's say that.
She has a certain aggression to her that we don't usually see on the screen. And I think we both appreciated that she likes to tell it like it is.
Yes, she's
very unapologetic.
And obviously that reared its ugly head to a certain extent. Like, poor Marilyn, for sure. I think there is no one's denying that. With that being said, let's just say I posted sympathetically about Victoria early into episode 2, and Victoria proceeded to repost it. And since then, we've gotten, 30 DMs exclusively negative about it. Not a single one has been anything but categorically, what do you mean? For example, the best one maybe is someone just replied, she's not a fucking queen. Are you kidding me? No. A lot of shame on you for publicly supporting such a terrible person. That one was shame.
And I feel shamed.
Yeah,
Charles did drag me into this mess with him, but I'm along for every second of it. In defense of Victoria, I think is going to be the theme of this episode.
If only because no one else is doing it, and also it's working in our favor, I guess, let's say, to maybe be the one person speaking kindly. So last night, all Monday, we were messaging Victoria because she was nice enough to repost us. So since then, she's a sort of a cryptic woman, in as much as she's outspoken. But she said things like, here's quoting, because the haters are like, OMG, you're not good vibes. What is that about? Oh, did you notice she's changed her bio? Instead of good vibes only, it now says haters go skedaddle.
And there's a Bible verse.
And there's a Bible verse, which we'll get into, I guess. Peter 5:7. Um, now I'm just thinking about Pilot Pete, and I'm just saddened, or just my day's made worse now.
Charles is now flaccid.
He offers nothing to me he's a walking negative.
Much like our DMs right now.
Yes. So,
but they're a really broad range of negatives. Like we have some
Yes.
people who are shitting on the way she looks, which I don't think we really get behind. But then we have people just shitting on her personality, and that's, maybe a little more forgivable. Although lots are failing to see her nuance. She brings a certain sparkle. It's a very difficult one to ignore.
can we talk about, I guess, briefly research as it relates to The Bachelor in terms of your life? And because what I'm trying to say is, like, we take seriously this craziness, and that, like, we want to really systematically look at, like, okay, what happened throughout the episode? Because clearly she turned for people. She's been a unanimously hated. That's partially, I think, why we're coming at this a little more leniently, is the girl's been, meme to God death. Or just, she's gotten brutally
there is no more brutal army than Bachelor Nation.
That's what we, I guess, have gotten a taste of. As, for example, someone said, I feel like you are a very, very miserable person. Someone replied to us. Now, what I had said was, Victoria Larson was our fave mean girl of episode 1, and man, she came out swinging in the first 10 minutes. Gotta respect a queen keeping it real. So that was 10 minutes in, and that was, at that point, I think, a reasonable opinion to hold about someone.
I fully agree. Victoria at that point was just comedically saying what I'm sure all the viewers were thinking. Those girls being happy for Brie, like, okay, you might genuinely be a nice person, happy for your friend for all the screen time she's about to get. But you are not happy that you're not the one on that date. And Victoria wanting to colonize that screen time makes perfect sense to me.
And I think
still found a way to do it.
Yeah, like, we have to remember that we enjoy villains. And now I think in this case, Victoria is not likable. And I've seen people just saying, I just want her off my screen. I don't want to, like, deal with this. Oh my God. And so I think she's only gotten more negative in people's eyes, and so now she's really unsympathetic. But a lot of, like, I think, and we can talk about this, if she's more conventionally attractive according to Bachelor standards, I think she can maybe get away with more of this. And we see that because some of the memes are making fun of the bags under her eyes, the bra, like, the catty gay, in all of us wants to, like, laugh with that because it's true and it looked ridiculous. But also that same episode, she's talking about, like, insecurity. And I guess I was, because I'm relatively new to, like, diving deep into Bachelor Nation, such egregious, or I guess just people were really, with a lot of these memes, just blatantly talking about how ugly she looked, I guess.
Yeah, it's just cruel. It's actually bullying, which is a word that Bachelor Nation likes to use extremely loosely.
People were calling Victoria a bully, which, like, maybe she was, but then
but that does not give you a right to be one too.
Yeah, it's
they're just using her looks as ammunition for the fact that she's kind of annoying on screen. And I get it. I would love to watch genuine connections being made on screen, but the producers are never going to show us that. They're going to give us drama one way or another, and it's almost never going to be enjoyable. So get used to it, guys. This is the show. It's always the most dramatic season yet.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. I think we just feel bad for Victoria ultimately, because we thought she was for one thing, we sensed that she maybe was insecure, and so she's probably maybe overcompensating and or still trying to be very confident, which you have to admire. Like, you have to admire a girl trying to be confident, which is her whole thing. Although I guess some people will say she's being purely toxic for the sake of toxicity, and or she's maybe a producer. We do want to talk about those things too. There's a lot to talk about.
I think it goes a lot deeper than her being toxic or even her being a producer. Her confidence coach that she saw before the season aired, I don't know if you saw this.
I did.
Made a TikTok about it. And while I don't know if I'm comfortable with client confidentiality being breached that way, she says Victoria was fine with her releasing it. I don't know if that's true or not, but
they're confidence coaches.
Confidence coach before going on The Bachelor. Like, that's relatable. You know, that's such an impossible atmosphere to be confident or comfortable in.
I am a self-conscious, insecure person, so I would be horrified to go on The Bachelor. And so I am just so, not pitiful, but I just have a ton of empathy and sympathy for all these girls. I, for example, am never a fan of like, they know what they signed up for. I think we should always be sympathetic to people because they're being portrayed on television in a way to like get drama and make people look bad and stuff.
Also, they know what they signed up for and that they know the competition they're in and the fact that they're putting their fate in the editor's hands. They did not sign up for millions of people cyberbullying them. That's fucked up. No one has the right to do that. There's a reason Melania Trump made cyberbullying her cause, and it was not just to be ironic.
Do you think, was it to be ironic? Or just...
It's just so poetic.
Yeah, but I mean, so much of the 4 years have been. Let's get into the clips. So we want to go sort of systematically see what happened. How did Victoria sort of turn from... Because I was reading, like, you know, I was going back, looking at the bios, and people, like, the way they talk about her, they say, some people will love her, a lot of you won't. But what's happened since the end of this is that no one loves Victoria.
These two do. Well, no, we don't even love her. We
well, that's because we still, or we forget, we haven't even mentioned the MAGA flag thing yet, which that's a red flag. There's the MAGA thing. There's the fact that she's maybe producer. There's so much to get into with this girl.
Let's move on to these clips.
Yeah. So Jimmy Kimmel, he's ABC, right? So he gets special treatment access.
He does. And he definitely already knows everything that happens in the season. So when his wife predicts the final four after the premiere, she already knows who won. She doesn't just have insane prediction abilities. But anyway.
Who cares? Okay. I get, or is that...
That's the thing. Jimmy Kimmel's wife will go on and predict the
yeah. Or just, do people listen to what his wife says? You know? I don't know.
Well... I don't know.
Sorry,
actually, I don't know what kind of clout she has.
It's funny. You were very animated. You were like, now easy when it comes.
Well, it's just ridiculous because she always guesses three out of the four correctly. It's like, are you serious? This is so transparent.
So it does matter to you. Do you see that now?
Oh, I mean, it matters to me as someone who, believes in fairness.
So we're gonna dive into the episode, but first there was this clip I saw. Matt James, he's being interviewed by Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel brings up Queen Victoria, and he's throwing mud.
The purse full of meatballs, which by the way was strong, I thought.
I like that.
And the woman who Victoria, who calls herself the Queen. Was it difficult for you to not throw up on her when she announced?
Very kind of mean.
She said, yes, Queen.
Very funny. Was it difficult to not throw up when she said, yes, Queen? So my point, I'm showing this, I think, just because of all the people to pick out, Jimmy picks out her to say a pretty mean thing, but he gets away with it because he's making fun of the girl who said, yes, Queen. So I'm just trying to get people to, I think, realize like we would never be so mean about Kit. Like what happened last night would never happen to Kit for a number of reasons. And a lot of those reasons I think coincide with like how much more conventionally attractive Kit is, at least within the hyper competitive scale.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Women,
Kimmel never would have asked if he was going to barf on Kit.
Which like it's fine, I think, for comedians to single out people and have fun with it.
It is, but all the media Victoria's getting is negative, and that's not okay.
Yeah, and just it must feel really bad, and I don't think it's worthy or I don't have a lot of like
people literally kill themselves over their edits in reality TV shows. So we're not just like playing with fake characters here. These are real people with real lives. But Matt did say something redemptive.
Yeah, let's see what he says. Let's see what Matt James says. He's laughing.
To be honest with you, I appreciated everything about Victoria's entrance and who she was because
so did we.
Whatever you need to do to stand out, she did it. And I remembered her name and
great entrance.
It was lighthearted and it made me it broke the ice. It's such a tense situation, and I was nervous. And then when she comes out with everything that she is, it just.
Now, people might just be saying, okay, all those things are true, but what she did in episode 2 was inexcusable, which is a valid take, I think, not necessarily of all the cyberbullying, but let's keep watching because there's a second point, which is she a producer?
It put a smile on my face, and it
Why else?
brought less tension to the night. So,
Do you think she was popular with the other gals?
Oof.
I know she was popular with other girls.
She was, really, because I don't know, it did.
Okay, or I guess we can't take anything he says to be true at this point now. We were just talking off pod before recording about how he doesn't say a ton in terms of interview. He's polished, but
He's extremely well trained. He opens his mouth and you hear a producer's voice comes out. He's like a little puppet.
and so this video came out January 5th, so it was a week ago. So it's not like anyone's necessarily going to, I guess, put the dots together, except us. I mean, we just did. Well, so Jimmy goes on to ask,
I guess we're going to see how this
what everyone was asking.
plays out. I was surprised. I was wondering if, when you gave her the rose at the end, if that was one of those things where the producers say, I know she's awful, but please, we need to.
Now, again, Matt James, he's an amazing man. He would never lie. So let's see what he has to say. Surely she didn't earn that rose.
We need to have a couple bad ones in the.
He's doing a fake
the
laugh.
No, that wasn't the case. She was great. I really enjoyed Victoria.
And are you marrying her?
Case closed. I mean,
The
right?
fact that it's Kimmel interviewing Matt James is such a conflict of interest. It would be like, what's a company that owns another company? It would be like P&G interviewing literally any product that exists. Like, you're run by the same people. There's nothing real is going to come out.
My response to that is like that's a very cute thing of you to say, in that like you do, like we were just saying, care about rules and fairness. There's what's the conflict of interest if it's entertainment, and Jimmy, I guess it's
Entertainment, but they're the same people who own Jimmy Kimmel own Matt James. So they're telling him what to ask. They're telling him what to answer.
It's all a facade, I guess. Yeah.
Nothing is authentic. And while I shouldn't expect that from The Bachelor,
Okay,
I obviously still want it as a viewer.
No, I understand. Yes, especially, I mean, that's something with late night that really dampers it for me watching it, is understanding, oh, this is really scripted out in terms of this fake conversation. Oh, tell me about that time. Now you know, surely they're not going.
Yeah,
for
late
one
night
thing,
is literally just acting.
yeah. And hey, he's a mediocre actor in that. I mean, he's gorgeous and he's very charismatic, but also he's new at this. I guess he's like a new actor, but he has a ton of potential. I mean, he got cast as the, let's see what's he saying now.
All right. Do you want to see who my wife picked?
Oh, Karina, do you want to see, or are you gonna
You
get
know
pissed
what?
off?
Give it to me. Give it to me. I'm ready to
I'm
feel
going to be
something.
watching your face very closely here, okay?
Okay.
All right. The final three. Bree. Okay.
Matt's
She likes Bree.
stoic. He's just nodding.
This is Abigail. She likes Abigail.
He's a little
And,
smile.
According to my wife, your bride
My wife.
will be Rachel.
Who would
Your
guess
thoughts?
that?
Let's
Who
talk-
would
I'd
guess
love
that
to
it's
know
going to
the
be
thought
Rachel?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think there is a thought process.
Because
just
she
kinda
cried
looks at
after
him.
his prayer.
Sometimes she
We,
picks before the show starts, and she just looks at a picture. and
Sometimes she
decides,
just looks
and
at a
somehow
picture.
she gets it right. I don't know.
I will
It's
say
so
that
random.
somehow, Karina.
God,
Your wife
my
has great
ass.
taste.
I'm literally so angry.
Oh, you're so cute. Good God.
It would be fine if they didn't pretend that she was going in blind, but like a homegirl knows all the dirt. They probably have weekly poker nights with Chris Harrison the way we do.
Chris Harrison
What
tweeted,
size shoe do you wear, Charles?
size 13, the biggest.
No way.
I have very big
Are you
feet.
serious?
I have big feet and big hands.
Let me see.
I'm 6 feet tall. I got big 13s. I'd love to sell feet pics.
I know a guy.
You do?
Of course.
I guess when you're from Florida.
I'm making a note of it right now.
Who could hook me up?
Who would purchase?
Wait,
I know a big foot guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from back in the day.
I will also custom videos, like whatever. I have no shame.
Bro, I will let him know. I love this. He might even be in for the mask wear.
Yeah.
For those who are only listening and not watching,
On YouTube,
Charles is
yeah.
wearing a ski mask.
You got to stay masked and warm. And then I got at my job, it's Bob Marley Tuesdays. The 2-year-old I nanny, she's definitionally obsessed with Bob Marley.
It's so cute that you're listening to Bob Marley with a toddler instead of with a fat blunt.
You said fat, and I really didn't know where you were going to go with that. Let's get into Victoria, because people are listening to this because, I guess let's say this. I think we got so many messages because people would go onto Victoria's story to be like, what's this bitch saying tonight? Then they click, and we're the second one, and so then they click on us and they reply. Because again, we'll get into, people were really coming at us.
Yeah, people love to complain about Victoria on their television screen, and then they go on their phone and seek out more Victoria content. So, girl, you are doing shit right. She has guaranteed her spot on Paradise, and that's what all the other contestants are mad about.
And we'll talk about Victoria's. Ooh, she's active now. We can message her. She's sitting right, and I sort of believe that. She's doing her queen thing. Let's hear from the queen herself. This is 2.5 minutes
I'd rather
in.
be hanging out with Matt.
This is my kingdom and Matt's my king.
So even in that was 1 second. There's a lot to hate there in terms of, as a viewer, she calls herself a queen. Again, a lot of people that just rubs the wrong way.
This is my kingdom and Matt's my king.
There's the Valley Girl voice. I'm trying to acknowledge for listeners, like, I understand why a lot of you hate her.
She is immediately polarizing.
Which, yeah, I mean,
but she owns it.
Yeah, and let me see what she...
There's no way she doesn't know what she's doing, but she keeps doing it.
Yes.
Imagine the confidence, the blind faith in herself. We all aspire to that.
Yes,
all of us,
because,
not just me.
Like, that really is what self-actualization is. Like, we all only have our own like subjective experience, so we are all that matters in terms of insecurity and how we like there's nothing wrong with, especially with women, I feel like, and on TV, like owning yourself. It's like, I don't know, there's merit, I think, to that side of Victoria. And like you said, like, she got a confidence, coaching lesson.
She is refusing to make herself smaller for this. And
yeah, well, so one thing she said to us in DMs is, because we said we loved your entrance, and then when you said just go talk to him, to that girl. Now, it was a bit brash. She's saying just go talk to him, but we here at the Mean for the Right Reasons podcast sometimes think those sort of misanthropes, the sort of Larry David types who just sort of speak their minds, can often be right. And I thought that was a cool moment for her, saying, like, just do it, man. Like, she's giving this girl a pep talk. It's a little brash. Anyway, she says, it's not that serious. That's just my sense of humor, honestly. Some can't handle it, but I know myself and how sweet I truly am, and that's why I'm not too bothered. I hope she's being truthful.
I hope she's seriously not too bothered.
Yeah, because
I find it impossible to believe anyone wouldn't be.
Yes. And I mean, that's another part of this, saying, like, trying to lend an ear of, like, that's the best thing you can do, is put on a brave face. But yeah, it must be awful. There were 30 different memes that were, like, distinctly, like, savage it's funny stuff, and it's accurate, and it's totally valid to do for people we don't like. But just, I know in terms of, like, my hierarchy of evils, people on reality TV are so tremendously low.
Yeah, there are more productive things to aim your hatred towards.
Which, again, this person who says, I feel like you are a very, very miserable person, in response to me saying, Victoria was our favorite mean girl of episode 1, and man, she came out swinging in the first 10 minutes. Gotta respect.
She did come out swinging. Who can deny that?
And again, we're the mean for the right reasons, but we're gonna listen to people who are saying what others aren't, saying.
And you know it's not mean for the right reasons is criticizing someone's physical features. That does not just hurt them, but it
Yes,
also hurts
yeah.
everyone who shares those features.
I mean, even the bra thing, I have like, there's, I think, a sympathetic reading of like, don't be mean about that. People make mistakes and don't pack a bra. Like, she must be so
Also,
embarrassed
when you
seeing
have
that.
larger boobs, it's harder to manage. And if those girls in the house were actually nice, they probably would have said something to her about it.
Yeah, which again, that's part of how this feels is, I mean, it's ultimately, again, she was seemingly really bogus to Marilyn. We'll get into that. Like, she's definitely can be toxic, but that doesn't necessarily justify like being mean to the mean girl and bullying her back, I guess.
We also are only seeing negative Victoria content. I'm sure there are other moments. Nobody is this one-dimensional. Like,
Yes.
she could have a turnaround any episode now or later on Paradise.
Okay, there's so much to talk about with this girl.
There's so much.
Um,
Thank you, Victoria, for all the content you've given us to work with.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving.
And I'll say this, like the bags under her eyes, like it's, I guess, funny to make fun of that when it's like true and it's the type of thing you feel bad about in the way that like bullying can be funny. You agree, right? Or just being mean about other people you don't like. That's funny.
Yeah, maybe
That's
not on TV or
No, yeah.
online where they can see.
Well,
but with a trusted friend behind their back on on a podcast when you're not recording.
Well, when I see those memes with the bags, like making fun of that, how she's already packed her bags, I just think about, for one, she really talks about how body insecurity is something she's dealing with. So it's blind of you to forget about that. Like, this woman matters as much as the other contestants, like her emotional experience. I get if she's, excuse me, if she's MAGA, I guess, why you would care less, but still, she's like a human.
And some of your favorites are also probably MAGA.
They're all, yeah, we take no prisoners. With the bags under her eyes, it's just it's a sign of lack of sleep. It's a sign of distress. Like, the bags under her eyes is disconcerting to me. Like, I am a like caregiver, like for a living, and then was an RA for 3 years. So like that's what I see often, because like that's what I was trained to see, is like talking to someone. How do you notice whether or not they're getting? But just those, I mean, those bags under her eyes are crazy. Like, she doesn't look good.
Sign for concern.
She's, probably drinking a lot to get through this, which, like, been there, sis. That's every, holiday with the family. But at the same time, like, I feel pity for myself when I'm drinking that much. And I feel pity for her drinking this much.
And even if she's not drinking, it's obvious the other girls have no interest in being her friends. I imagine Victoria is spending a lot of time with her producer, who I'm sure is feeding her plenty of lies to just exacerbate every single bad feeling she's currently going through, and probably feeding her new ideas.
Yes. We definitely are of the mindset that, like, producers are probably playing her quite a lot here, and they're probably the people who you should channel anger towards in terms of
every time you want to
culpability.
shit on a contestant, let's take a step back.
Or the editors, yeah. Okay, so here's 5 minutes in. Matt's leaving on his one-on-one. They're on the ATVs. That's Bree, right?
Who we love.
Of course.
She's not very good at it.
This is a game of...
Look, Karina's laughing. It's funny. It's true.
She's not very good at it.
She's-
Insulting someone's ATV skills the first time they drive is not mean. She's probably pointing out something that's just very true, and clearly neither of them are very good at it, considering they almost died.
They're
So Victoria
laughing.
was just
Yep.
looking out.
My point being, like, so far into this episode, like, I'm liking Victoria. Like, she's funny,
She's been fun.
Now let's go 20 more seconds.
So I think they have a really good connection. No, yeah, I am excited for Brie. I think we should all totally take Chris's advice and be very mindful.
Victoria's
about
looking
that.
skeptically.
Yeah.
Wait, first of all, I didn't even talk to Bree, so I don't have that little friendship.
Is this
that you
Victoria
guys
right now?
have. And
course, yeah.
Second of
You
all,
can't,
like, I wanted to be on that date, so I'm not happy about it.
Trust me, we're all jealous. Like,
Facts.
trust me.
I'm not really jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm just like, I want that. I'm literally.
That was
I'm
Marilyn, I
not
think.
jealous. I want that. Victoria just invented definitions for words.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, so far, and again, the Marilyn stuff, I guess, gets dirty. And also, like, the Marilyn crying when she says she wants to crawl into a ball. I get why that would evoke hatred for you then towards Victoria. But as of now, like, that's all, I think, pure, like, just fun and games, them going back and forth about. She's obviously, I mean, a hard person to talk to. No, it's not this, it's that. I'm not jealous,
But her unfiltered commentary so far has been very lighthearted and mostly fun.
Yes. So we're going to go. So that was 5 minutes in. We're going all the way to 16:35. What happens until then? A little lumberjack.
Time travel.
We're going 16:35. I've gotten written down. Victoria is stirring the pot.
Honestly, like, not want a group date based on how I feel in the group right now. I don't feel like I can be my most authentic self.
Okay, so my thoughts on Victoria are that...
And I forget what she says, but I have written down that I think this is like the situation we find ourselves in as a podcast.
There's just a lot that she does that's off-putting.
Although, like, I would do it for Matt,
not
but
this part.
It would still be like,
This
I would
part
rather
seems
wait
true,
for
though.
one-on-one.
I have sympathy for her
This.
because you don't want someone to be getting ganged up on one hand, but on the other, like, stop, being an idiot.
Wouldn't you say that's basically what we're saying in this like 50-minute podcast about her?
Getting ganged up
Yeah,
on.
I think she would benefit from some self-awareness, but
It sucks to just a lot. It sucks to see someone getting ganged up on. That's a big part of what we're saying. But also,
one hand, but on the other, like, stop, being an idiot.
stop, being an idiot. That's a good way to put it. Also, you know.
I like the little apology, and I actually really buy what she's saying. Who was that?
That was Alana. I think we like her.
Oh, she was the other one who got a kiss on night one. Only her and Abigail.
Yeah. That's another thing. We got funny people in our mentions. Let's see. What else Bree say? It is weird. I think Victoria has to be some sort of producer plant. Oh no. She says because she has the physical and relational appeal of Arby's.
Oh.
Like you
That's-
don't
oh,
like,
I hate how funny that is.
Like you don't crave it, but you'll stop if it's the only place on the exit. Damn. This girl said we don't praise Trump MAGA girls. I totally agree.
Which is why we posted those before that news came out.
Yeah, and this person said, I'm going to wait and see if the makeup artist confirms it's her house and flag. I alluded to Rachel, and she said, Rachel? And I said, oh, do you not know the Rachel drama? And she said, no. And so I just said, oh, she's maybe
shit.
racist. And the girl...
She's definitely racist.
Okay. I like Jojo. Jojo says, sorry, pot stirrer. There's always one on the show. That's in response to our post.
There is, and that one, again, always makes it on Paradise. So while Victoria might be making America hate her, she's definitely accomplishing another goal she has, which is increasing her fame. Ever since we started our Instagram and I'm looking at what other people are saying, it's made me hate the show a lot more.
Go on.
Because like we were saying, people are mean, and just seeing that most of the fan base is like that, and that's what's perpetuating every new cycle of The Bachelor is what these people want, is very upsetting, especially from a social standpoint.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, someone says, horrified, do you think her behavior is acceptable? Clown emoji.
And the fact that someone commented on her post and was like, her lines are obviously scripted. Y'all little gays will eat any shit up. Like, okay, that's kind of hilarious.
Oh, it's very funny.
Also, I
Calling
feel like
us.
they meant that genuinely, and I'm just like, first of all,
The two of us get like homophobically slurred then.
Like they don't even know how many gay friends I have.
Yeah. That's parody of how white liberals sound.
What else do you have to show us?
Yeah, we're diving back into clips. We're doing close-ups with Queen V, going through each of her appearances.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, please. Oh, Eliana, go get it, girl. I'm scared. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God.
If Victoria's name is called on that gay card, I'm a little nervous to see how the rest of this journey between all of us is going to go.
I validate Rachel in that it seemed like the girls again, we are openly acknowledging, I guess, that Victoria can be off-putting. It's funny. I love just the narrative that she's like a loose cannon or a grenade, where it's if she's on the date, things are gonna go bad. I don't know. What do you think of that? Like, is it belittling or is it just true and that's just she's toxic?
Well, I totally get it for the other girls because if Victoria's on the date is going to be about Victoria. So that sucks for them.
That is how our queen bee. She's a queen bee.
She dominates the attention in the room. And I get why, that would bum the other girls out. There's no redemption here. It just sucks when the villain is on your date.
But
it's also inevitable. Like, none of those girls were surprised. And I'm also so sure that little confessional we saw of Rachel must have been done at least 5 times because she said journey. The sentence was a complete perfect sentence. And I'm pretty sure it was on her face the whole time. Like, she was coached through that sentence and probably given the line because I'm sure she would have had more choice words. But also I see Rachel through an admittedly very negative lens because she is a racist. Purportedly.
Pot opinion.
But
yeah.
There are receipts.
As of today, we're recording, it's Tuesday at 8. I saw today, I think the girl who on night 1 said, "Girl, remember when you bullied me for liking a black guy in high school?" Mm-hmm. She has since, I guess, spoiler alert, said, like, yes, that happened. Other people reached out to me saying, "I remember how you were bullied by this group of," it's Rachel and her group of friends. So that's like muddy water, even more so, like where her culpability lies.
Yeah, blind allegations are really dangerous, but then there are also photos of Rachel dressed up in very appropriative outfits and liking posts of other girls that feature the Confederate flag quite prominently. So
it's very, especially,
we know it's not a deal breaker for her.
Yeah,
which is a deal breaker for us.
There's a lot of like regional context clues as well with Forsyth County, right? If you want to go down that Reddit hole,
Georgia, famous for its lynchings.
Do people call it Reddit holes instead of rabbit holes? Going down a Reddit hole here.
I'm sure they do.
Anyways, if you want, I mean, maybe
let's penetrate this Reddit hole.
That's the only thing penetrating any Redditor. God, you guys don't get any sex. I'm curious, when you've dated, have you bonded with people over your Reddit-ness?
Oh, so much. Well, I mean, my past ex of a year and a half, who we lovingly call Beefcake on the pod.
So
he was also a Redditor. I guess he still is, because sometimes I lurk on his account in a really healthy way just to see where he's at now.
You got to mute your exes, people.
Well, he did block me on Instagram and Twitter in a really mature way. So this is now the most stalking I can do.
By the way, before we get back to Victoria, you texted me, I meant to bring this up. You texted me that 3 of your exes texted you about the pod or something. How many? What did you say?
Yeah, 3 of them have. And it's
what are they saying?
It's been supportive, but cloaked in making fun of me, because I guess I'm just drawn to people who are savage towards me, which is why I deal with you.
What if can you read some of them? You don't have to say who said what.
Yeah.
And people don't know your exes, so. Huh.
Right,
wow.
Sec.
None of my exes reached out to me about the podcast. I guess that just shows how desperate men are. And just that makes, like, just men are worse than women.
So one of them messaged me a link to a tweet about Neutral Milk Hotel. And we started talking about poop because our relationship is centered a lot around the ways our bodies hated us.
Did you say you started talking about poop?
Yeah, it transitioned into a conversation about poop. That's not that unusual with this guy.
Okay.
Then he's talking about how Trump is not a good wiper. He was definitely called skid mark at one point or another. You should totally talk about this on your podcast. Wait, can I be a guest?
Ooh.
And then he said, I feel like Charles might bully me. And I said, that makes 2 of us.
Really? Well, that's great. I mean, that's why I have you as my co-host. What about him would I bully?
Well, the fact that he dated me.
Yeah.
Any sex stories we share are
pretty pathetic. Not pathetic.
They're pretty pathetic. One joke he made was, I call it making love when it ends with both of us crying. And it usually was making love.
And I guess if listeners don't, what you're saying is both of you would cry during sex?
Yeah.
Because you both had separate emotional trauma, I guess? Or I think I kind of know why you cry during. Do you still cry during sex?
No, I've gotten way better about it. It's totally a rare occasion now. It's a fun surprise for everyone involved.
Okay, because I remember when I was your sophomore year RA, like talking to you about how that was a...
Yeah, that's when it was a big thing. I can't believe actually, never mind. A lot of people knew about that. It was literally my Tinder bio. It used to be, what was it?
I cry during sex.
I have abandonment issues and cry during sex. Hit me up for a horrible time.
And
that's how I got my boyfriend.
Beefcake?
Beefcake.
Oh, no, damn, wow. Yeah, I've been calling your boyfriend. I called your boyfriend Beefcake the entire time I met him. Do you know the specific origin of Beefcake? Ever since I don't even remember his name.
I think it was the night
he's a beefcake
that we had our
screenwriting. He looks kind of like Sean from season 17. He's as hot. I mean, he's a beefcake. He
is unfortunately too short to ever be the Bachelor.
Is really? How short is he?
He's like a 5'8", 5'9".
Oh, man.
I don't care about height, guys. I'm not shallow.
Dang. Well, also you're short, so you're allowed to. I mean, what are you, 5'7"?
I'm literally like 5'7", yeah.
I mean, that's short to me. It's all... Wow. I can't wait to talk about that when we talk about height. We were talking about your boyfriends. Okay, we'll get back to Victoria because people do need to know about us. Okay, listeners, this is not just a Bachelor podcast. It's also a gossip podcast for me and Karina.
And that's where the real tea comes in.
Yeah, there's nothing.
That's what you guys want to be sipping.
Yeah, we'll post pictures of Beefcake next
Drink
to
our
Sean.
Kool-Aid.
Can we do that? Can I post
we
pictures
cannot do
with his
that.
head cut off? With heads cut off.
What?
Including
What's the point?
By that, comparing their bodies. Can we compare the bodies of your ex-boyfriend shirtless and Sean from season 17?
Oh, man. You'll have to do it without my knowledge. I'm pretty sure you're the only one of my friends he did not block on Instagram.
Oh, that's such a wow. CBO.
Bro,
wow.
I can't believe how he took Beefcake in stride. Like, that should be a lot more offensive.
Well,
but he thought it was so funny.
That's a lot of... Like, I have a lot of connections with people where, for this guy, your ex, I only knew him anytime I'd see you guys on campus, I'd shout Beefcake, like, across campus. It was hysterical, frankly.
He kept forgetting your name, and he would call you Beefcake.
Yeah, he called me Beefcake, which makes me feel good. I'm sort of a shrimp type, figure. No, that's the thing. I wasn't even making fun of him. I'm just having fun with him. And
I'm sure it was very validating to him because he worked hard for that beefcake composition.
Yeah. Let's remind, if you want to know more about Beefcake, listen to episode 1. We talked about his sex habits, actually. The guy's a fucking maniac. So listen to episode 1. After you're done with this, I talk about my sex life. Karina talks about hers. It's a good episode. Get to know us more. Back to Victoria, okay? Okay, we're back. We're looking at clips. 17 minutes in. Names are being read. I'm showing this. Victoria's the last name to be called. The producers are doing her dirty.
Definitely be hard. Don't know when she's gonna.
Big suspense.
Victoria.
Oh, she goes yay and claps.
Yay.
No kidding. The girls hate her. She's the last name read. That must suck to just. But the producers, wouldn't you agree, are probably doing everything they can to craft this villain of Victoria.
There's no world where Victoria was not on that group date and where her name was not read last on the card. And she's going to get the last rose at the rose ceremony.
And all we're trying to say is like, with these sort of blind lynch mob statements sometimes of like, they knew what they were signing up for and stuff. Like Victoria just doesn't necessarily know, like she's going to be playing a rigged game where they're going to exploit her proclivity to be outgoing.
So many girls on the date have a problem with Victoria. I do think the group date is going to be a show.
Just don't be negative tomorrow, guys.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Then skip ahead a few minutes. Fireworks are going off.
We are
already know she got a rose.
Well, that's good for her, I guess. That's powerful.
Well, that's good for her.
And then someone else said, that sucks.
Oh, how I felt this morning.
Here comes Victoria. Now you know how I felt this morning.
You guys were just so rude to me,
She's
and like,
such-
this was the issue I
like,
had
how
all
is she
day.
gatekeeping jealousy right now?
I'm here to spend time with Matt. That's important.
Yeah, and so I posted to story standing her, saying, like, because to me this is hilarious. It reminds me so much of like Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's definitely not reading the room, but it's so funny to try and say I told you so to a group of how many women are there? 20? I mean,
There's like 30. Yeah, there's so many. It's like
of course it goes terribly, but like I love her for going
Me,
for it.
so if it's not important to you, that's what's perplexing to me.
realistically, someone should just pull her aside and talk to her about it.
Yeah.
And maybe they did and we didn't see that.
Yeah,
I
but that's
doubt
not
it.
the show's interest. In the same way, like the show's formal best interest is not like finding Matt James the best match. It's, you know, to sell ads and have drama. And so my point being, like, if it was in their best interest, they wouldn't do certain, you know, they would let him talk to more girls for one-on-one. You know, just that bugs me, I guess, as I get more into the show. Like, I think it could be so much better in many ways and or different if it was actually caring about true love.
I think a lot of people want the show to go back to its roots and its original premise of actually finding someone, a potential long-term partner. I mean, that's the show's called The Bachelor. It's not called The Drama Queen.
Speaking
Which
of,
I mean, a Victoria offshoot easily could be.
One of you.
But-
I just finally was like, you guys are finally saying what I was saying since the morning.
You're getting a
Yeah,
little
because you guys are.
so you're getting upset. You're getting upset. You're getting upset. I know like a decent amount about like trauma care because 3 years in RA, I've had people be. I've had my share of Victorias, but then almost more importantly, that I spend 9 hours a day with a 2-year-old who gets very upset and is a big drama queen. She
So you're not comparing Victoria to your 2-year-old.
Well, no, the 2-year-old's much more powerful and can cause way more harm. Seriously, like Victoria, that's another thing. She's kind of harmless. Although I guess she harmed Marilyn, and we'll talk about that. She caused harm to Marilyn. What was I going to say? Tantrums. Oh, that's not what I say to the 2-year-old, and it's not what I would ever say to someone who's upset. It's sort of like when someone's freaking out, say "Don't freak out" or "You're freaking out." You want to like acknowledge feelings for one, like that. Victoria must feel so alone and alienated.
Crazy.
Yeah, the way
think
she's
we're
perceiving
disconnected.
things obviously does not align with how everyone else says.
Yeah, and we'll talk about gaslighting.
Just coming in is when other people are speaking for others. Nobody needs to speak for everyone because everyone doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah, thank you for saying that because I think I'm.
That's a hell of a fit from Chelsea. What is that? A white? I'm guessing that's faux fur, but that's like a minx. The tweets saying how the white and the racial factor of everybody has dealt with everybody meaning every WOC woman of color has dealt with a Karen or a Victoria, and they were. That's why they were very sympathetic to Marilyn. I guess I want to make sure we like formally validate that read of this situation. Okay, we're back. We're going systematically through Victoria's edit in this episode to see where it all went wrong. Right now, Marilyn is beefing with Victoria.
I think Victoria's dealing with a lot of her own insecurities right now, but the last thing I want is drama with somebody like that.
We have to room together. We have
That's a tragic statement from Marilyn. The last thing I want is drama from, she has no idea what's coming.
to live
It
together.
really sucks that
I'm
you have
trying
no control over what you're dragged into. You only control the things that you say.
to make it work.
Oh my God, I'm so over it here.
I don't understand what's happening here. I kind of don't want to sleep in her room.
Victoria's walking away. She took heat for that. I mean, that's a valid criticism, I guess. Also valid criticism is saying I'm done and walking away.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to sit in when you know that nobody really likes you and you just feel completely out of control and like they're ganging up against you. Like, even if we as viewers think that they're doing that for warranted reasons, it sucks to be on the receiving end of when what you're guilty of is just being kind of annoying.
Yes. Okay, here's our queen, Victoria. We're 45 minutes in. She's about to have a one-on-one chat with Matt.
So, how are
Spoiler, she's going to talk about insecurity she has. I even saw people rag on her and I guess call her fake deep because she goes on to, I guess, brag about how she had a deep conversation. I feel like we should not be mean to the girl talking about insecurity on national
let's
TV.
not gatekeep deep conversations. Everyone has different emotional things to share about their past and present situations, and just because hers might not be the most heartfelt or drama,
let's hear it.
Traumatizing story.
I'm great. I was really impressed with you today.
Yeah, I wanted that hard.
Yeah, I saw that, and
yeah. But I have a lot of sides to me too, and like as much as I come across confident, like I wanted you to know that like I'm still a human and like I'm not always completely that way. Like I have my insecurities too, you know.
Again,
people have turned her into a caricature. Like it is important for her to say I'm still a human, and people should listen to that.
Yeah, and well, the point I was going to make is she's saying like a lot, and or people hear what they want to hear, in that we all process information differently, and in the way that I process, let's say, something Trump is saying, I'm naturally suspicious because he's proven himself to like be a liar. So when I hear him, I'm naturally, you know, people hearing Victoria say, so like I'm insecure, that then is why they have a catty, shitty response, I guess.
You're such like a prize and there's so much on the line, like picking out a dress today.
Again, it must be.
Don't love her calling him a prize, but I see where she's coming from.
Oh, see, or I think that's an honest assessment of what it is. Of they're all fighting for this 6'4" hunk.
It's like,
well, it is, but it's
like,
also so objectifying.
Yes, yeah.
Don't look fat, or like I have these thoughts where I'm like insecure.
Well, you looked great today.
Oh, thank you.
And you looked great night one, and it's always.
Look at Matt James. He's not sharing any mean memes. He would never. That's the nice thing to do. And then let's hear what he says here.
It was interesting to hear that because I try to come across like I have everything together as well.
Yeah.
And
not this.
I don't. You know, it's like.
I feel like you do too.
I think you had a really great response.
That's why I want to get to know you deeper.
I'm right
no,
here. I'm
for
with
sure,
you.
for sure.
Yeah. He's a very active listener, and he's sympathetic.
We can't say the same for the people meanly DMing us.
Now helps me understand why you're the way you are, and I love that about you.
He loves it about her that she's confident. Now let's hear what his advice is to her.
Dude, there's a reason why you're still here, because I enjoy those things about you. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna challenge you to continue to own who you are because it's beautiful.
I want to, and like
because the producers tell me to.
Yes, it's perhaps shitty of, because maybe people are listening and saying Matt's lying to her, but then I guess then we should be mad at him, I guess, for leading on Victoria. But even if he's
also, what else could he say? He couldn't be like, yeah, I want you to be shyer and more timid. Like, I don't really like your personality. Fundamentally changes a person for me.
Yeah, I think we talk so much about with reality TV, especially like The Bachelor, they're always chasing the contestants, like this idea of what they should be doing. You got to make a bold gesture. You got to win over Tayshia by being really vulnerable. So when Matt says to her, continue to be yourself, continue to be loud and confident, as viewers, like, we can't get really mad, I guess, when it blows up. But I mean, I guess we can get really mad because it was pretty messy.
I want to get like closer with you.
Just again, trying to like explain this, I guess, like
or more things.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you think he's just completely bullshitting and he doesn't like her and he's forced to have her because of the producers? Like, do you think that's what it is? And he's just like being nice and nothing to say?
I have no idea what the guy's feeling, but it could be really possible that he's just down for some more spice.
I'll take you back upstairs.
Like, she's so zesty. She must be really entertaining to be around.
Sure.
You might have no interest in dating her, but she might be a fun break from the, standard conversations he has all night.
What do you think of this? Can I get a kiss before we go? I thought it was baller of like get a kiss, but I know the kissing.
I think the show over normalizes kissing to where everyone's making out all the time, and it's obvious the lead does not always want it. In this case, Victoria asked for a kiss. In a lot of other cases in this season and previous ones, it's just been, oh, I'm going to kiss you even if it doesn't seem like you want it. I saw a lot of that with Bennett and Tayshia last season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he would just steal kisses constantly, like when she was not expecting it. And I mean, maybe she was feeling it. I don't know. It didn't really come across on camera.
We'll talk Bennett and Tayshia off season when we do our retrospective.
You can only read body language so much too. Like, we might think Matt James is not into the kisses, but like maybe he's about it. I don't know.
She gets her kiss. Was she expecting that rose? She was expecting that
Shared a
rose.
lot, and I like went out of my way during the day. So yeah, I was like partially thinking maybe I'd get the rose.
I'm sure the producers were like, you're totally going to get the rose if you open up and are sweet and vulnerable with him.
I feel bad for her getting her hopes up with Matt James. I don't think he's not going to pick her. We all know he's not going to pick her. So why is she even there?
I also think you should give her more credit, though. She knows this whole thing is a Paradise audition for herself.
Right.
I don't think she thinks for a second she stands a chance with Matt. You know in the very beginning if you have a connection with someone or not.
Yes, that is true. We've had a lot of people in our DMs saying that of this is a Paradise play, which in those people's defense, they say, I don't want to watch that. So Victoria was expecting the rose. So now we got one big more clip. We got basically it all blows up with Marilyn. People know what we're talking about. She's wearing this dress. People were ragging on this dress, man. I guess that's fair game. I guess fashion's fair game.
People all ragged on Kids Dress Night 1 too.
Yeah, we got it. We persecute all equal. Marilyn and
flower too.
Really?
Yeah. I love that.
she doesn't look that well. She looks very stressed. She has bags under her eyes, which again, to me, it's like that's just concerning.
Marilyn is toxic. I have so many things to say to Matt.
I think she's drinking water there. It could be a gin and tonic, but I think it's water. Just because I
hate.
Yes.
Sorry. I hate this popularization of the word toxic. It feels like when people say problematic, both words are just a placeholder for not explaining why you actually feel that way. We know so little of why Marilyn is toxic.
And of course, we all think Victoria herself is toxic. We got so little information about what happened and like, was there stuff? There's certainly a lot of bickering going on when the doors are closed and they're in their bedroom. And this isn't a show like Big Brother, so they're not always taping everything.
Yeah, it's very plausible that they had a fight and Marilyn was unkind, and what Victoria is referencing is not made up. But at the same time, it's just as likely that Marilyn's version is true.
Yeah, and that Victoria is being a Karen.
I was not going to tell him about the issues in the house with Marilyn, but like my ultimate state is of love. I don't want to be around.
But like my ultimate state is of love. That's not true, really. She's not acting out of love in terms of telling Matt. Well, I mean, maybe she is. I guess she really.
I mean, it's definitely self-interest, but in the sake of
her
love,
toxic energy.
Should I have been like, hey Matt, you should put a rose in there?
I feel like that.
And that's another reason why people are so angry, which is I think that's we're just trying to figure out why people are so angry. I think part of it is that was a beautiful moment with Marilyn and the orchid. She felt like Matt was, she didn't know if he even knew
her, remembering
her name. And then he gets her this orchid. Now, of course, like I was just saying, this show drives you crazy because it gives you this great moment. Instantly, we all think, oh, that's just the producers. Does Matt even know her name? The show drives you crazy because there's no truth, I guess, or it's all.
Did the producers tell him to give her the orchid just to set Victoria off because she doesn't get along with her roommate who received the orchid?
That's at least
it
in the
seems
edit.
A little
that's
too perfect.
It just goes back to like me being an empath, and if I'm around that energy, it can sometimes take over.
I liked that. She calls herself
calling herself an empath,
and I guess by that does she mean she can't deal with Matt James being played by Marilyn, I guess? Is that the insinuation?
So I think Marilyn
so it might be coming from a good place.
I think Marilyn should go home. She says it like it is in terms of she's not. She's being a villain. She's being a villain.
How you doing?
At this point, I do feel like I need to fill him in on the antics to like pull out of that toxic environment that Marilyn did create.
She has to know it won't end well for her.
Yeah, which is definitely why people hate her, because she knows what she's doing. And as I was rewatching this, there are girls talking about how mad they are because they didn't get time. And so that's like, I genuinely resent Victoria, I guess, for taking time away from other girls who who
would have used that time well.
Which, I mean, that's another valid
presumably.
complaint against, like, I definitely am overwhelmed by how many girls there still are, I guess, and or feel like I don't know so many of them. I know Victoria really well.
Yeah, like we might be defending Victoria right now, but I don't think we're happy that she has consumed our entire episode.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it maybe works since we're like a Mean Girls themed podcast. But I get that for a lot of these women who, or just I was reading on Reddit, I was reading on Facebook, like a lot of people are saying, one more episode and I'm out. Like I cannot take enough. I can't take more of this girl.
Well, she'll be out soon enough, guys. What a Victoria want. This is her bachelorette edit.
Oh my God, that would be so good. She only has. So she only has 10,000 Instagram followers.
I think she's at 13K now.
She has really low engagement, which I wonder if she's bought them. Did you see someone commented on our post saying how many followers we have and then saying buy some?
Yeah, I'm so confused by that. I'm like, okay, donate to our Patreon then. Help us buy followers.
Okay, we're almost done with the Victoria talk because the episode is almost done. So Victoria has created drama. She's now talking to Matt. We've seen this before in other seasons.
I kind of like brushed over some things, like how I was
letting him
telling
know
it's, like,
about
really hard
gossip.
In the house. Okay, well,
He does not look enthused at all. Good God.
He's like, oh, I'm going to have to deal with something.
Which that honestly, that weighs on me too in terms of like how favorable or unfavorable I feel in terms of Victoria. Like it's shitty of her to like confuse Matt, and put him in the middle of this. I definitely fully acknowledge that.
like Marilyn was my roommate and like.
Was your roommate?
Yes. And like.
See, active listener, was your roommate?
She just like cries to like manipulate situations and.
So, I mean, that we have no idea if that's true. We
don't. And I mean, we see ways Victoria manipulates situations too. So
yeah. That's it takes one to know one. But yeah, I mean, Marilyn's a dear. She's only, and even since then, she's recently, right? She was posting on her story. Basically, how would you paraphrase what she said?
She was so mature and gracious about it. She was like, guys, just remember everyone does things for a reason. We're all justified to how we feel at certain moments.
And this is today. So
that was literally, today in response to yesterday's episode. She was, I guess, not telling people to give Victoria the benefit of the doubt, but lending some credence to the fact that Victoria has her own perception of things and those may be valid.
She's just like straight up toxic. Like I had to sleep on the couch temporarily because
she's definitely going for the pity play. Like, oh, I had to sleep on the couch, as if she wasn't owning sleeping on the couch earlier that episode.
Yeah.
That in the house, it's really hard. And I don't think like you've had that experience. So it was crazy.
Like it was crazy. She's very non-specific, which
maybe was just edited out, or maybe she actually has nothing of substance to say in the matter because it's not real. None of us know.
It's also true that she's like a poor communicator in terms of she knows her truth and she knows Marilyn is da-da-da, and then she's just not doing the best job of like telling Matt James.
First off, I had no idea that was going on. And I apologize for brushing over that when you were trying to.
He's a nice guy. He apologized when he does
It was like a lot.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Have you talked to her since that happened? Like what's
No,
I
we're
just
sort of
like
like not
avoid her
talking.
now because
This is where like for Matt, I just start to feel stupid. Like send them both, or just like move, or like start having meaningful connections.
I really wished he had done what Claire had done at the beginning of her season, which was like, okay, you two sit down, sort out your own drama. I'm gonna go spend time with people who are here for
she's
the right
just so
reason.
toxic.
Not to I guess associate Marilyn in that of like we want her to have her fair due.
None of this is Marilyn's fault.
You know, so I'm able to still maintain a positive attitude, but at the same time, I like.
That was a very like, yeah, it sucks. I'm not saying, but I'm still maintaining a positive attitude.
Wanted to kind of share with you like how toxic the house can truly be.
I'm really.
We should have counted how many times she said toxic.
Glad you should.
Probably maybe 14 times in the episode, maybe less, 7.
Shared that with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to get to know the real you if you have all these things that are weighing on you and you're trying to get to know me and have a good time. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
But then it's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm sure everyone screams at their television right now because that's not what they want. They want a rose ceremony. They want to know that Victoria's going home.
From what I gathered, it seemed like Marilyn had been bullying Victoria.
He holds her hands,
and
body language.
I'm not about that. That's whack. Victoria.
I'm not about bullying. That's whack.
I know what he means. I won't hate on that communication.
I
hasn't held
agree.
back
Bullying
anything from
is
me,
whack.
So why would she make something like this
There's
up?
the bra thing. Her bra's, it looks bad. Her bra's showing out. People were making fun.
The editors did it on purpose.
I need to find her, talk to her, and get to the bottom of this.
And he's
Marilyn, I
just
wanted to actually
nervous.
talk to you for a
Marilyn,
second.
can I take you?
I'm with him.
We don't even have to show. I mean,
He's like, do I want to deal with this? I don't like either of these girls that much.
We got Marilyn saying that
You just
Victoria's
feel
making all
frustrated
this
on
up.
her behalf.
So now it's turned into a she said. Who do I believe? I've heard Victoria's side. I've heard Marilyn's side. I don't really know what to think at this point.
He sounds just defeated, which is probably how I would feel too.
Yeah,
Just
he's like, I don't know what to do. Thank God the producers are going to tell me everything to do anyway.
I'm new around here.
Be shared because at that point it was weighing on my chest. Hi. Yeah. Hi.
I love this.
It's weighing on my chest.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Do you mind if we have a conversation outside?
You can sit there and we can have a talk. I'm not going outside. It's freezing. We'll give you.
Fair.
And then I was like, oh shit, she's really gonna. But nope, Kit, and is that Anna?
We'll give you guys a moment.
Rachel grabs her drink.
It's like you can sit there. Can I?
Then there's the
Everyone
weird.
runs away.
Then there's this weird stuff about the sitting.
Sure, and I'll sit there.
She's like 6 feet apart.
It's very petty. She's clearly trying to. It's a power play, or I guess she's trying to self-victimize and be like, I'm so afraid of Marilyn, I can't sit near her.
It feels like when you say someone's name incorrectly, like on purpose, as a power play, and it's like, this does absolutely nothing. It just delays the process of actually getting down to it.
Yeah, which,
So that way you can look me in the face and say, like, if anything I said wasn't the truth.
Okay, I think that there's a lot of miscommunication
great poise from Marilyn to start.
here. Okay.
I'm listening. What do you have to say?
Oh, this is even more frustrating the second time around.
That's a bad. I'm listening again. Like that must be very frustrating for a woman of color. Like
It's a little bit loud. Do you mind if I just sit here?
it is weirdly loud. Well, actually, they could have cleaned that audio up. Do you hear that? How they're playing the background noise?
You have to say.
Okay, it's a little bit loud. Do you mind if I just sit here?
It is super
No, I don't.
loud.
And it's like you have boom. This is a professional.
Why are they like partying in the next room? What are they doing? They're like, oh, Victoria's about to be eliminated. Like, let's have a party.
They might be. Is she about? I mean, I guess we don't. There's no way.
The previews literally spoiled that she's still going to be here next week.
Oh.
Nice work, editors.
All right.
At the same time, ABC, hire me. I won't fuck up like that.
Victoria, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. And
Thank you.
we can.
Thank you.
Marilyn is the picture of maturity, and Victoria is like a little 5-year-old.
It's so-
Maybe that's why you like her, because you like kids.
Victoria, I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I hurt your feelings. And
Thank you.
we can sit
I accept your apology, but I think that we have very
And then she just starts talking over her.
She does
different
not
realities
apologize
of what
back.
occurred.
She's being quite cogent. We have very different realities of what occurred.
You feel this way, and I acknowledge that you feel this way. And regardless of what happened,
But like, if it didn't happen, why are you apologizing?
If it didn't happen, why are you apologizing? That could be manipulative and
It's a little bit of a
gaslighting.
fallacious argument, yeah.
Matt had mentioned that you think that I'm toxic and manipulative.
I do think you are those things. And then she just sighs, like, "Good, God bless you, Marilyn."
I did not
This
say those
discussion,
things.
I need a break.
I'm. There's no reason to disbelieve Marilyn when she says, "I didn't say those things."
You're too much for me.
Okay.
I genuinely care about human connection and getting to know someone, and Marilyn took advantage of that and bullied me. I don't think she has.
It's funny, or just the bullying thing. I mean, we'll talk about Rachel. I guess we already did, but that's essentially one of the big claims with Rachel is that she bullied. That's another term that, again, we can really throw around. Like, we've been bullied in our DMs. People said we should be ashamed of ourselves. And people said we're miserable people. And then I looked and it's like they've got ACAB in their bio. It's like, bro, like we probably agree on the things that matter. Like, I'm sorry I annoyed you by saying
The
yes,
sooner
queen.
Matt gets rid of her, the better. She's straight
The sooner Matt gets rid of her, the better. She's gunning for blood.
up crazy.
And that bra's looking bad. Good heesh.
I'm a big energy person. Right now, the energy is just like.
I
really,
honestly
like, a
didn't
lot.
notice the bra at all until everyone online was bringing it up.
Yeah, which which I think is why you have to be careful when you're making jokes, because you're spreading information about people and you're reducing them to these images and memes.
Victoria just threw like a wrench into the night.
I can't do this anymore. Like, I want to.
Okay, yeah, then it just gets really sad. She says she wants to curl into a ball. At this point, it's a ton of like rage towards Victoria in terms of like, you caused this.
And it's so justifiable.
And I think this is then when people start messaging us again saying, how can you defend this woman?
Because Marilyn is the picture of a sympathetic character.
Man, people were, or this one girl, she must have typed maybe the equivalent of like a 2-page essay, like the equivalent of that. This isn't a mean girl. This is the biggest wannabe mean girl, and it's so obvious it's pathetic. There's nothing that she looks good in outfit-wise. And then she just goes on, then she
makes these really mean parallels between Victoria
I guess I don't want
and
to read.
fictional characters she can look like. No, don't read it. I don't. I hate to validate any of that.
It's
like there are the right and wrong ways to be mean.
Oh man, this girl's really, or just being mean about Victoria's physical appearance and her just being mean. She's faking it. I feel so embarrassed for her. Yikes. His face shows how tortured he felt, especially when later
how is everyone suddenly a body language expert? We have no idea how Maggie was feeling.
Now this will be a good title. She's not a fucking queen.